I am I am looking at the names here and seeing, I think, Shelly, I think you're the only one that's currently on the OpCity platform. Would everybody just be able to write in chat or unmute yourself and let me know if you are currently on the OpCity platform? What we're going to do today is I'm going to introduce it and then kind of just talk about the tricks of making this platform successful for you. I will do a disclaimer that I always do when we're talking about company generated business is this is not going to make you a millionaire. Obviously, there are referral fees that are attached with them because we do have to pay to be a part of these different platforms. However, it is something that is additional people that you would not have gotten in front of before. It is additional ways for you to grab more of an audience that you would have not had before. So I always tell people, again, you're not going to be a millionaire on this. You're going to be about 1% that you are going to receive back in commissions instead of your standard 3%. The way to really make any platform work with generated leads is to take that 1%, form a great relationship, and then get additional referrals from that are obviously not company generated leads. So anything again that we deal with, that's always highly what we encourage for you to be successful from joining any of these. Okay, so I don't see anybody so far in the chat that has been involved with OpCity. So what we're going to do is an introduction over to it. I just have a couple very, very short slides here. Hold on one second. Let me just share. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Wayne, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, let me do this. Sorry, with double screens, I always tend to mess things up here. Okay, so OpCity is basically a call center is the best way to describe it. OpCity and Realtor.com joined forces, I want to say it was about 2 years ago. So what we used to do in the past is if somebody was coming to ERA.com, if we were doing any kind of advertisements or anything like that, we would get a whole bunch of leads. So Marty, for example, you would get like 50 leads in like a month and a half. Well, it could be John Smith doesn't have a phone number, or the phone number is not working, the email's not working, and it's just a lot of junk that you basically had to sift through. So obviously that was very discouraging for agents. It was not working out in our benefit whatsoever. And it was a lot of work on the agents. So what we started to do is now work with OpCity, that they are basically now a call center. So when we get a lead through ERA.com, or, they have various leads that they work with as well too, there is a call center that is going to start contacting them. Can you close? Yeah. There's a call center that will constantly contact John Smith, and they will not transfer him over to us until they get a live person. Ensure, obviously, that is the correct phone number, that is the correct email, and then they'll move forward from there. So now it's, I would say, closer to a warm lead rather than just a cold lead that we are putting in your hands. Are they always pre-qualified? Are they always pre-approved? Absolutely not. It depends on what lead this is coming from. So the different types of referrals that we have that come through OpCity are ERA.com, ERA advertising, which hopefully you all know right now that ERA is really bumping up their advertising in radio, television ads, everything with our partnership with Major League Baseball and Minor League Baseball. So if you guys have not heard these ads yet, you'll start to see that it's becoming quite interesting. So we should be getting more leads through that. The other way is OpCity and Realtor.com leads. These are their own homegrown leads through their own website, their own lead sources. And then they also do additional partners. So the additional partners that come from this could be a lender that they're working with. There's where you're going to find the more pre-approved, pre-qualified. And that's somewhat newer, I'd say within the past year, it has happened. But they have also various other referral sources that they work through. So it's not, again, just ERA.com, not just Realtor.com. It's a variety of lead sources that come through. So great, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, again, they're internet leads, but they're warmer leads that come through. So anybody that's on the call right now that is looking for a lead to get in their hand that is pre-approved, that they are, yeah, go ahead. Greg, did you have a question? And guys, please, like, I hate listening to the sound of my own voice after a while, so please interrupt and ask any questions in the meantime when we're going through this. But again, if you're looking for a quick lead to turn over, 9 times out of 10, those are not going to be OpCity leads. These are leads that somebody is most likely right in the beginning stages of looking for a home, of thinking about maybe to sell their home. They're in the very early stages of this. So these leads usually take anywhere from 6 months to 11 months on average to close. So this is something that you have to stay ahead of, putting them on an MLS drip, utilizing all of our tools within Moxie, doing neighborhood news, doing all of that stuff just to constantly stay in contact with them. Yeah, go ahead, Greg. Okay, I think it actually.
Yeah, I'm just trying to mute folks just because some folks are just coming in, so I think it's
Oh, yeah. That's no problem whatsoever. And again, if you guys
And,
have questions
and
along the way, go ahead.
by the way, Megan, I'm not logged in 15 times. I shared the Zoom link this morning, and I think somehow everyone's, logging in as Greg Williams through my Zoom link. So
You're just overachiever over here, Greg. I get
yeah,
it.
I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just seeing like the name pop up for it. Okay, so all right, so let's kind of walk through the platform and how it works a little bit. So again, OpCity is basically a call center. So somebody, I'm just going to keep saying John Smith. We're gonna roll with that one. John Smith is in Fort Myers, Florida. He decides he wants to start looking up some kind of referrals and lands on either ERA.com. He links onto something with OpCity. His information is put in, and right away they try to start calling him. Now, what happens then is it's kind of like a speed to lead that you have to answer the phone. So that is going to go over, I'm sorry, the OpCity person will then contact through all that information, again, ensuring the phone number is real. And then they're going to start going through the tools and everything for that. And then what happens after that is they're talking to the consumer, and as they have the consumer on the phone and the consumer is active, they're going to try to start contacting an agent and directly have the agent go with the consumer and get them online and get them on the phone right away. So it is a very quick speed to lead process for anyone that's ever worked with any kind of leads like that before. It is basically a like first come, first serve. So this is something
Megs,
that
all of them are speed to lead? Everything
all of
coming
them are
through is speed to lead?
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. All of them are absolutely speed to lead. So what you do is, and in Columbus, we didn't have as many people really signed up for it. I was trying to encourage it. I was getting feedback from Cincinnati agents, Florida agents. So I actually put my own OpCity account together just so I could, it's different with me sitting here and telling you exactly how everything should work, or actually doing it myself to provide feedback of how successful it is, how the process goes. It is extremely quick. So it's not just a phone call that you'll do. You can also get a text message that comes through. And literally the second that you get it, you want to press 1 to be connected with that person immediately. Okay. Even if you press 1 within the first couple seconds, you may or may not win that. And actually, Rebecca, let me step back for a second and correct myself. 9 times out of 10, it's going to go direct to you. However, if you're an extremely successful agent with them, you have been through all of this with them for like a year or so. They do hold out like higher price ones that they can call you directly on it. And they don't train that. They've never shown that. I actually found that out from Wayne himself, who does this in New York, of a few times that he was contacted directly. They are not going to do it for an agent that is right out of the gate, just trying to start the process. That they have a separate algorithm that goes with everything. But Wayne, if you want to talk to that real quick on your experience, and again, Rebecca, I never would have known about this. It's nothing that they teach. I only found it out through Wayne.
Yeah, and the first time it happened, I was curious. I was like, why is OpCity calling me? Literally just an incoming call. So I'm like, all right, I answer it. And sure enough, they said, we have this lead. Literally you've been successful or you've, been accepting leads and on a little path, and they just gave it to me directly. So it does happen. It happens to me not 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 every month, but every other month, every 6 weeks, something like that. I'll just get a call and they say, "Do you want it?" And I always accept it because I truly believe that'll lead to them calling me again. So yeah, just be on the lookout. Just work, and I'll talk a little bit more after Megan's done about just little things I do to make it successful, and then just be ready for that potential call. So.
Perfect. Thank you, Wayne. Again, I would not have known about that. And I constantly learn new things from our agents that are that are on OpCity and are successful with it. Again, sometimes it's not everything that you can be taught online for it. Okay, so the next part that I'll kind of go through is how to be successful at OpCity. Do you guys have any questions on how the leads come through, on what kind of clients you're getting with this? Okay, so let's move on to the next step on how to be successful with it. So the best way is it's on an algorithm. All of our other referrals that we have, I can place them with you. I can say, okay, somebody's looking for X amount. I know Rebecca Geiger just sold in that neighborhood. I'm going to send it over to Rebecca. These ones just come through quickly, and it's based on an algorithm database that they work with on their own. I have no control over it. The biggest disclaimer that I will tell everybody with OpCity is do not turn it on until you are ready to go. You are ready to answer the calls. You are ready to update. Because the second that you don't answer the calls until like 10 minutes, or you do not do your updates because you're on a vacation or things like that, that algorithm is going to be working against you. If you do everything correctly and in line of what they want, your algorithm will move up quite quickly. But it's very easy to fall down. And once you fall down, it's almost impossible to get back up on it. So that is my disclaimer, because I always have agents that call me and they're complaining they haven't received leads in X amount of time. I can try to do little tricks with you of making your area bigger or things like that to try to get you rebooted up with it. But really, it's everybody's own responsibility of how the algorithm can work for you. Okay, so how to be successful? Okay, I will be honest, we have some leads that come through that are $60,000. We have leads that come through that are $2 million. So it's really all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason that I can tell you in this area, this is what you'll be receiving, and in this area, this is what you'll be receiving. I highly recommend when you are starting the process, and this is exactly how it will look on your site when you start up your account. Make your area huge. I know for me, I live in Hilliard, Ohio. Ideally, if I were selling real estate, I'd only want to work in Hilliard and maybe like 15 miles around that. I don't want to be spending a bunch of gas money. I don't want to live in my car. I don't want to show somebody, somewhere that's 20 minutes north, and then the next day they want to look 30 minutes south from me. But you, again, are trying to tell a system that you are an agent willing to take everything and you want to get those referrals. Best way for you to start with this is obviously getting leads and obviously speaking with leads and converting leads. For your phone to start ringing right out of the gate, I recommend you pick a certain area, a certain zip code that you want to work in, and do like a 40-mile radius around it. Okay. So, and then you can disable some zip codes if you're an experienced agent. A brand new agent cannot disable zip codes. And then you can say that you don't want to do leases and don't want to do rent to owns. I changed mine a little bit just to show you that you can disable some price ranges. Again, I do not recommend doing that. Sorry, my computer's about to die. I do not recommend doing that right out of the gate because again, you want to get as many referrals into your hands as possible. You can do property types. The only one that I really recommend is, disabling mobile and manufactured homes. That one doesn't seem to affect you as much as the other ones do. And then, so what happens is, say that you start getting leads. That's great. Now you're showing the system how you are willing to work, that you're willing to take these referrals, but never be afraid to accept a referral that's for under 60K in Naples, Florida. They are never going to find anything ever. So you accept it, try to talk to the person as well, because it might have just came through as under 60K, but really, they have 600K that comes in. You truly don't know, again, if they're even pre-approved or anything like that. So have a conversation with the person. If they are truly under 60K, you can release the referral, send it back to OpCity. This person is not going to find anything there. Never be afraid to release a referral. If you got John Smith, you've had him for 2 months, I would say would be probably the breaking point. You've had John Smith for 2 months. He's not answering the phone. Release the referral. It goes back to the call center. Why do we have to pay these high referral fees when on somebody that's not even answering the phone? You're wasting your time. What happens is if John Smith, they're going to keep calling John Smith over and over again because they want that referral. So if John Smith answers the phone, it automatically goes back to you. So never be afraid to do that. Okay. Again, the most successful agents that are going to be on OpCity are consistent and persistent. So you have to make sure that you are doing updates with them, that you are constantly in front of them. We just had one close, I think it was 3 months ago, with an agent that was like 18 months on top of this person. And it closed for $450,000. So did that agent think that that client was really going to come through? Probably not. They probably just thought that it was, a drip campaign that was going to go nowhere, but it just shows that consistency does work. The other thing is, hey, yay, John Smith, you got him in contract. He is ready to go. He is moving forward. You pay that referral fee. It stinks, but it's a referral that you never would have had before. Well, now John Smith's neighbor also wants to sell their house. Well, now you get John Smith's neighbor, you get that neighbor's cousin, you get their nephew, you get all of that stuff that you're not paying a referral fee on. So I suggest starting to use all of our tools if you're not using Moxie or use your own CRM and start tracking where all of this is coming from. So make sure that you do remember that you used OpCity and the neighbor that sold their house through that's where it all came from. And if you are successful in doing this and staying on top of it, this is where you are going to make all of your money from it all. The system does work, but again, I do encourage people that this is something that is not going to be a quick turnover. It's something that you just do have to stay on top of. So, okay, so OpCity, you got it. You're starting to get leads, you're getting referrals, and then you start getting a little bit tired with doing it. You can snooze your account. You can put your account on hold. You could put your account on hold for a couple months if you want to, and then get back on it. The only thing that would hurt you is if you're killing it on OpCity and then all of a sudden you don't do the updates. You don't answer any of the calls. You don't do any of that. It's basically then a platform that used to work for you that's no longer going to work for you anymore. Does that make sense? So the agents that are the most successful with this, honestly, are the ones that are just eager to get any kind of referrals. And sometimes you got to work through the not so great ones to get the great ones. One of our agents in Cincinnati was a brand new agent and closed around $2 million in sales volume his first year from doing OpCity. So newer agents are extremely successful on this. And then agents that have been around for a little while, if they are eager to develop new pipelines and things like that, are also successful on it. New agents cannot pick what they want their price range to be. Agents that are experienced can pick it, but again, I encourage you not to do that right out of the gate, just because you want to get as many referrals as you can. Does anybody have questions for me?
Jenny just put one in chat, and you
Yeah.
sort of mentioned it, but just about, can you mute yourself, can you snooze yourself or mute yourself for an appointment or for a vacation? And you sort of mentioned, yes, you can. You can snooze yourself for an hour. You can snooze yourself for a week, so in like Megan said, that sort of prevents you from getting dinged by just not responding. So I don't do it for like my hour. All right, hopefully I don't, get one because I want to kind of make it as easy on myself as I can. If you can get in the rhythm of I'm going on an appointment, I'm going to quick snooze it for an hour, but then, you can either say, hey, snooze for an hour, or if you just snooze, but then you forget to turn yourself back on. So, kind of figure out your little system. But, if you're truly going away for a week and kind of want to, like be off the grid, yeah, I'm going to work, but I really don't want to, worry about getting notifications, then you definitely can snooze yourself for a week.
The only thing that when you do snooze, that's snoozing for not any new referrals coming in, but they still do want you to do your updates. And trust me, when you do your updates, they do not want a novel. All you have to say is still looking. Nobody wants to read it, But that kind of falls in line with Crystal put in the chat. If you get an app for this. So anybody that's on the phone right now, if you're like, yes, yay, I want to do OpCity, this is something that I'm interested in doing, and you try to download the app on your phone, it is not going to work. OpCity no longer works with individual agents. They only work with brokerages as a whole. That stopped probably about 5 years ago. So what will happen is, Smitty, you're interested in doing OpCity again, and Smitty, if you don't mind, I might use you as an example in a moment here, in regards to your account, if you don't mind me doing that. So Smitty's interested. All Smitty does is he contacts me and says, hey, I want to join the OpCity team. I'm gonna send you over just a quick like agreement from ERA that just basically states that, you know, these are referrals from ERA. You're gonna do everything in your power to convert them, stuff like that. And then once you do agree to that, you're going to get a link from realtor.com or OpCity, and it's going to say, okay, basically you've been approved, your brokerage would like you to start receiving these referrals. You can go on our platform and it'll send you a link that you'll go through everything. Now, from there, it's going to give you a login. So it's going to be your email, and then obviously you're going to have a password. Then you can go in and you can go on the app and download that information. But say again, Smitty just started, he downloaded the app and he put in Smitty Smith at ERA.com. It's not going to accept him because the brokerage has not approved him. Does that make sense, guys? So I've had a couple calls that people are like, well, I tried to download the app and it's not working. And I know ERA uses this. That's because you have to go through the certain steps in order to start an account with it. Okay, so
Yeah, and I'll just add that
yeah,
you
please.
will, I mean, unless you're really a desktop or a laptop person, I don't ever, I mean, once a month, I don't even know if I do that, log into OpCity on my laptop. The app is great. Everything's in there. All the contacts are in there. That's how you accept leads. So, again, got to go through the process, but you will be using the app 90% of the time, throughout this, accepting leads and stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again, and I have not tried this, so hopefully I'm not, screwing this up. So I apologize if I am. Trial and error here at its best, guys. Okay, so I'm going to log into my dashboard account. 1 second. Okay, can you see my account?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is the dashboard that I kind of look at when I'm seeing everything. I can look at the referrals that we have coming in. But I am going to go ahead and try to be. I'm going to log in as Smitty here. Okay, you have so this is what you guys will see on your dashboard because I'm acting as an agent. So therefore I'm seeing exactly how you guys can see it. You can look at your active, if you have anything holding, if you have anything released. He has so many different things going on right now. So obviously this one was released back in 2021. And then I can go ahead and I can look at my stats. Obviously these stats are going to be breathtaking because he has a lot. He doesn't have any referrals that's in here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to, yeah, I did bite myself in the butt with this one. Okay, so if you have not received referrals in a long time, what I recommend doing is going ahead and switching it to making your zip code larger. What you can start doing lease to own and then just releasing those referrals. You basically just want referrals into this. Basically, all that you're going to do in here is say that, yes, I will take everything. Making sure your snooze is not off, making sure that your do not disturb is not off, and then making sure you do have no push notifications. So Smitty, I don't know if it's going to do much for your area here, but let's just try that. So, okay, great. We changed all of our settings. Hopefully if our phone starts ringing a little bit here, what we can do is after we get like 3 referrals, and again, don't be afraid to release any of this. What you want to do is then you can make it a smaller area. You don't want to go 60 miles away anymore. So you can make it a smaller area from all of it. Okay, I don't know if that's gonna work, Smitty. Let me look into Fort Myers a little bit more. I know for Fort Myers, we don't get like a huge amount. Hi, Susan. We don't get a huge amount of clients like we do in other areas. We still get a good amount, but we don't get as many as, say, Hillsborough, Ohio. But I will look into your account. But this is something that, you know, when the algorithm falls off a little bit, it's really hard to do. The only way that you can go in, and I see Matthew Johnson also wrote that it's been silent for a little bit, going in and trying to manipulate the system. If you have upped everything else, what I can do is try to disable your account, keep it like that for about 2 months, and then we'll enable it back to kind of try to reset you. So actually, Smitty, I'll probably try that with you anyways right now, because you don't want to go 60 miles out. I do recommend when you are starting to work on the platform to start with at minimum 30 miles outside your desired target area. Once you become successful, then you can move it to 20, then you can move it to 15, and everybody can hope and pray that they're, you know, like Wayne, that the phone starts ringing and they call you directly with it. But it doesn't happen all the time. I don't happen to have Mark or Victor are not on the call, correct? I don't know with all the Greg Smiths.
No. Oh yeah, well, actually, I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't seen him or anything on, no.
So they're an example in Florida. Oh, hi, Mark. So they are a great example in Florida, how it worked really well. And they basically teamed up together and were taking anything thrown at them. And I mean anything. And they would work those leads and work those leads and work those leads. And they did have a great amount of closings from it. I'm sorry, Mark, you never mind when I throw you under the bus here with it, but it's a great example. And then another example. Then they got extremely busy with their own work, you know, their personal referrals, and they kind of fell off of the algorithm a little bit from it. So they kind of went back. They went in and made their zip codes larger again, and now they're back on top as 1 and 2 in the market with receiving referrals. Again, it's all about consistency, answering your phone, and then basically taking everything. Mark, now that I threw you under the bus, do you want to say anything about how you're successful on it?
Yeah. Victor and I met on Sunday. We got a lead hit on Saturday night for a family of 5 that inherited a 5-acre parcel in Lake Placid. So if you know where Lake Placid is from Fort Myers, it's far. 2.5 hours. And there's more cows than there are people. Large property. It's going to have a fair evaluation, and they were ready to list. From that, we ended up going around and seeing the comparables in the area, because obviously we're not familiar with Lake Placid. So we went and looked at some of the comparables, met some neighbors that might turn into more deals. But that's kind of the concept of OpCity. It's not there to make you rich. There's referral fees attached, but it's a great way to start a referral chain, maybe in an area that you didn't plan on working, or that an area that's, you know, internet-wise has a high desirability, which you can get more leads from. And the same thing, like I'm in Fort Myers now. Lewiston is about, you know, an hour and a half away. Montoya Ranches, and right now that's all the leads I'm getting. And it's very easy to develop a referral relationship with somebody, or find an agent within the company. I know Victor is willing to kind of go anywhere. He enjoys driving. And him and I kind of teamed up with this and developed a relationship to where we service any leads that come in. So that's kind of how you have to do it. And then I think Victor not too long ago had $1 million lead come through OpCity. I think I've had 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they will reward you from doing that.
And again, I mean, but how many $60,000 leads do you think that you guys had in between that as well?
All of them.
Yeah. So again, we also have, certain agents that are like, I want this zip code and I don't want anything under 500,000. It's just probably not the right platform for everybody to be on. Those do come through.
Right.
But the algorithm and the system and things like that, kind of like Mark said, it does reward you when you put in the work with the smaller ones to get the bigger ones. Anybody else have questions? Okay, so I encourage you, if you guys are currently on the system, and you don't get the leads that you think that you're getting, to go through, manipulate exactly what your parameters are, expand them out to as much as they can be expanded out. Within a month, if that's not working for you, we'll do what I tried to do at Smitty. If you are interested in starting on the OpCity platform, I encourage it to everybody. I really do. You just have to be willing to work these referrals. But I encourage you to contact me. You can ask me any kind of separate questions. Once you get on the platform, once I send you over the link and you are approved to do it, it is going to, again, set up your own parameters. So it's going to lead you into another screen that's going to have you set up every single one of the parameters that you want. And it's also going to be, if you're doing it on your computer, which I highly recommend you start it on your computer, there's a 15-minute tutorial that it will walk you through. And the 15-minute tutorial, for some reason, it's the system loving itself. It bumps you up a little bit when you're doing your algorithm because you watch the 15-minute tutorial. From there, then you download your app and you got to be ready to go right then. So even if you're sitting in an appointment and you set up a different ringtone or something like that for OpCity, automatically answer it, or it'll come through your app as well too. Press 1 and then don't even get connected right away if you're in appointments. It's just they want you to accept it as fast as possible. In regards, Jenny, what the referral fee is, it does vary. If you are closing a lead under $30,000, the referral fee is 30%. That we have to pay back to OpCity. And then it's on a 70-30 split with ERA, because Jeremy upfronts all the money with zip codes and things like that. So it's a 70-30, you receive 70, ERA, Real Solutions gets 30% from it. Other than that, it was always a standard 35% referral from whatever the lead was coming through. But now that they're working with different things, sometimes it's 35%, sometimes it's 40%. If you get a platinum level one, that's again usually anything over 500. That is closer to a 40% referral fee. So all of this stuff, all the accounting and everything added into your head, yes, you're going to get basically about 1% commission back instead of 3%. So like I said, as I told everybody, this is not something that you are going to be a millionaire from. The only way that you'll really be successful with this is, again, constantly staying in contact with those people and utilizing John Smith as just another sphere of influence you did not have before. Use John and try to get any kind of other business from it that you're not paying the referral fee on.
Yeah, so just to add a little bit the cost. So I'm a fan of hey, if I'm gonna pay a referral fee, or if I'm gonna buy a lead, essentially, I'm a fan of not paying for it unless I close. So that's an advantage of OpCity. No one's forking over, $500 a month and hoping something, like, hey, look, I'm going to go through, I'm going to close. Yes, when it closes, I get whatever. But I didn't fork over money to get that lead in the first place. So just that's kind of how I think about okay, I'm willing to do this because, you know, I just get a lead. I get 2 to 3 leads a day. So, you know, and I don't pay for them and, you know, until they close. And it's like, well, I still got to check. So just
And
think about it that way. Again, it's not for everyone, but think
no.
about it that way.
And that's, Wayne, that was the point that I was just gonna say. There's so many agents right now that pay an absurd amount of money for Zillow leads, or an absurd amount of money, even their own realtor.com zip codes. Um, we're not going to be successful with this unless you guys are successful with this as well too. So we're already up fronting the money right out of the gate. And we do not get anything back until something closes. So, and you, obviously you could be on OpCity for a while. It doesn't behoove you or us to not close anything. So we're here to do anything that we possibly can, because you are not going to pay a dime on anything on any of those referrals until they close. Okay,
So I'm going to add just a few things, and because maybe you're
please do.
not on, you know, you haven't seen the app or aren't part of the platform yet. Some of it may not make sense, but it'll make sense soon as you get in there. You'll be able to set up whether you want a push notification, so the app will actually notify you, or you can get a text notification. So every time there's a lead and there is somebody literally, OpCity has someone on the phone and they're just like the first agent that accepts it is going to talk to that person. I suggest doing push. It's actually a little quicker than text. So, you know, the app doesn't have to tell your text to send it. So just, again, just a little thing, you know, the push notification is best, you know, from what I've seen. If you can, you're going to get a pop-up notification. I got a $100,000 lead in this zip code. What do you want to do? You can accept or skip if you don't want it, if you can't quite do it, but yet you can push that skip button. It They recognize it as you're on the ball. You could have accepted it, but you chose to skip it, and it'll actually be beneficial for you. So just know that there is a skip option, you know, that will help you, you know, just further down the road. They're going to know you were on the ball. And this is, again, just me personally. I accept everything. I don't care. Well, I mean, you know, I have my parameters for distance, but I will accept under 60. You know, probably 20% of the time someone's actually looking for something under 60. I've sold 600,000 for a lead that said under 60. So, you know, in the best client I've received was $100,000. Again, my price point's different than Southwest Florida. So 100,000 is fair around me. That client has closed 6 more deals with me. And, you know, so again, doesn't happen all the time. It's not, you know, I'm not saying it's, you know, but just, you know, it's up to you, but don't be afraid to accept it. You're going to hop on a call with someone. If they're unrealistic, won't, you know, haven't financed or won't, or, you know, then you release them and you're done. You spent, you know, 10 minutes, you know, trying to work this person. But you know, so just think about it again. If you're really looking for leads, accept them. Maybe work, you know, maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but you don't have to stress and hang on to them for 18 months if they're still not financed or something like that. So just think about that. So and then the last thing I'll say is just be prepared to work these leads. They are internet leads. But what I will say is not too many people are willing to wait on a phone. Like this person talked to him, said, wait, I'm going to find you an agent. They wait on the phone. They talk to you like, hey, look, I've had someone look at one house and buy it. You know, I have people that are 18, 20 months in the system. I don't stress about it. You know, I contact them. They're on drips. They get a text from me twice a month, you know, but I'm not stressing over it. So, but, you know, just be prepared that, you know, if you accept a lead and don't talk and they don't go out and look today and you don't talk to them for 2 months, don't think they're magically just going to call you 2 months from now. So, you know, so figure out a way to again, not stress and be annoyed when you're trying to call them, text them, and they don't respond. Just like find a little system, and just say, well, they're on a drip. I text them and I email them. If they don't come back, they don't come back. But I did a lot to kind of try to be there for them. So think about that. And just one tool I use that I absolutely love, and we've used it in the office a lot, is just a mass text. I use Hit 'em Up. So hit 'em, HITEMUP, and all of my OpCity leads are in a group in Hit 'em Up, and I can literally go in there. I have it in my phone, send an OpCity text twice a month. I go in and write one text. Hey, how's everything going? I'm still here if you need me. Let me know. Send it in. I think there's 42 people in there that get a text, and it took me 5 minutes, and I kind of sent that personal message. So again, little tools that you can use to they literally got a text from me. It wasn't a mass email. It wasn't so just little things that you can do to try to keep them around. And if they're ready 11 months from now, I don't ever think, man, that was a waste of time. I barely broke even. I try to do it as easy as we can to stay in front of them. So that's my little spiel. So
That's perfect. Thank you. Again, different when you're really actively doing it. I mean, I just basically downloaded it just to see what it was when the calls were coming in, but obviously I haven't sold anything on any of them. I just wanted to see what the process was for the agent. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? Okay. Anybody that is on the phone that is interested in starting this up, please just reach out to me and let me know, and I can have a separate conversation with you and then send you all the information over for you to get up and running. Smitty, I see yours, and I'll look into Susan's as well. Also send me over an email if something is going on that you do have an account, but you're not receiving any referrals, and we'll try to troubleshoot those as well. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining.
Again.
thanks, everyone. Have a great day.